what business is better than counterfeiting money as a business?
Right.
Okay, so what burst the bubble here? Well, this can't go on forever. And in D.C., there's a war over whether or not the SEC should regulate crypto or whether the CFTC should regulate crypto. So Sam supports a bill, the Stabenow-Boozman bill, and they give huge amounts of money to politicians. And if you read the bill said crypto will be regulated by the CFTC.
What's the CFTC?
The Commodity Futures Trading
Okay, gotcha.
Commission.
We know what the SEC is.
Okay, the CFTC
Got
would regulate if you were trading soybeans or pork bellies or
commodities,
oil or
anything commodities. Got it.
Okay, a commodity is an asset without an issuer. Okay, a commodity is a much more ethical thing to promote and to trade than a security. A security is yo-yo coin or penny stock. I invented it. The difference between a security and a commodity is if I looked at you right now and said, you know, I don't like people in Japan, I'm just going to turn off all their steel. I can't do that, right? I can't make steel not work in Japan. I can't turn off electricity in Japan or turn off oranges, right? So a commodity is an asset without an issuer. No matter how much money you have of pork bellies or lumber, you cannot invalidate somebody else's lumber. Okay, and that's why it's impossible to commit securities fraud.
Is that because those are natural resources
on a commodity?
For the most part? These are natural resources. Everything, lumber, pork, everything.
Because they're again, it's land, right? If I said to you, buy land in Texas, and I was wrong, okay, it's like I didn't create the land in Texas. I can't remove the land in Texas. But what if I said, buy Texas coin? There's only 1 million Texas coins. It's going up. And then you buy Texas coin. And then I go and I give myself 10 million more unlocked Texas coin. I dump it on the market. The price goes to zero. Now, do you feel like you got cheated? You see how it's possible to cheat you with a security because I can manipulate the characteristics of the security. A security is an asset with an issuer. So if you have an asset with an issuer, like for example, a publicly traded stock, like MicroStrategy, MSTR is an asset with an issuer. I have ethical civil obligations, right? You know, if I lie about it, I can't just say, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say, right? I don't even talk about it. I wouldn't tell you to buy it or not buy it. I would say, read our disclosures. There's 1,000 pages of risk factors. Everybody on the board of directors, everything we've done, everything we think we're going to do. If we change our mind about what we're going to do, you're going to read it in an 8K within 4 business days because I have an obligation to be transparent on a security. But on the other hand, if I say, I really think you ought to stock up on lumber in case, you need to burn it this winter. I'm promoting a commodity. Maybe you stock up on lumber and you overpay for it. Maybe you stock up on lumber and you don't need it during the winter, right? Did I defraud you? I'm promoting lumber. Maybe I gave you bad advice, but the difference between promoting lumber and promoting lumber coin is I can print 100 trillion lumber coin, on Saturday night and dump it on you and drive your lumber coin to zero. I can't create 100 trillion forest overnight by snapping my fingers. It's a natural phenomenon.
Doesn't that speak to just a bigger question about the crypto market in general? Like a lot of people will be like, yeah, I can't touch it. I can't hold it. Even with NFTs, meaning real estate, I can hold it. I can touch it. Commodities, cash, these are tangible assets. Even the stock market, however. With crypto, it's all very digital. You can't touch it. And I feel like a lot of people are uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, it gets to the fundamental point of what are those assets? Some of those assets are crypto commodities. A crypto commodity is a token without an issuer that cannot be manipulated by some CEO or corporation or other party, right? There are cryptocurrencies like Tether and Circle. They are actually tokens meant to represent the US dollar or some other stable asset. They have an issuer. And generally, they're going to be regulated as securities and as currencies by the banking establishment, the SEC. Then there's crypto securities, Solana, FTT, Serum. Those were all securities. They had an issuer. There were companies behind them. There were CEOs behind them. people could make more of them. People can destroy them. There are some people, insiders, that had disproportionate interest in them. Those could only be ethically sold to the general public pursuant to a full and fair disclosure, right? This is common sense, right? If you create something and you dump it on the general population, you have an ethical obligation to tell them who made the decision, how much is there, what is your background, what's going to happen next. That's what you do when you take a company public. So coming back to this crypto issue, you had a little war between the two factions. And the right answer is, if you're selling a crypto security, it should be regulated by the SEC. If you have a crypto commodity, then it's not a security. Now the question is, what's a crypto commodity? The chair of the SEC has said the only crypto asset that's clearly a commodity is Bitcoin. The chair of the CFTC had said, as of a few months ago, the only crypto assets that are commodities are Bitcoin and Ether. But Ethereum's not really a commodity. Ethereum is a security, and that has been a big fight in the community below the surface. As of last Wednesday, the chair of the CFTC went to Princeton, gave a speech, and said, the only crypto asset which I deem as commodity is Bitcoin. So now you have the CFTC and the SEC and certain other regulators, the head of Treasury, the head of the Federal Reserve, all of them, in essence, endorsing Bitcoin as a commodity and leaving us to figure out what we're going to do with the securities and the currencies that exist in the system. The thing that brought FTX crashing down is that Sam went to D.C., spent a lot of money on lobbyists, lobbied for this bill that would have made both Bitcoin and Ethereum commodities and would have put the CFTC in control, would have created light regulation, would have created a path for other crypto tokens to be viewed as commodities. And in addition to giving a lot of money to the media, a lot of money to the academics, a lot of money to the politicians, and a lot of money to the celebrities, he also inserted in the bill that the crypto exchanges would send fees to the CFTC. And they, in essence, try to bribe the CFTC with crypto usage fees in order to get light regulation. That didn't go over well with a whole set of regulators that thought that that was a way to undermine the securities industry. It was at a deadlock. That's why we haven't had any regulation, because of this deadlock between, I think, people that know better. And look, the crypto people have billions of dollars of counterfeit money. Sam alone spent billions of dollars of counterfeit stolen money. But imagine if everybody that was generating crypto tokens doing the same thing right now. And I'm not going to go into the others involved, but you can probably figure out what's going on. You have a lot of money trying to get a very light regulatory regime. Why'd Sam blow up? Well, Sam went to D.C., and in addition to trying to get fairly exceptional treatment just for his exchange, he then started bad-mouthing Binance and implying that the other offshore exchanges were much shadier than his. And that pissed them off, and that pissed off CZ. And so CZ said, okay, well, and that combined with the leak of the balance sheet. When the Alameda balance sheet leaked, and it was clear that something like $12 billion of $14 billion in assets were air tokens backed by nothing, it became pretty clear that they were rickety. Imagine if I said I have $12 billion of air token, it trades $10 million a day. Okay, well, all you got to do is dump $100 million on the market. It's going to zero. So once they saw that, I think CZ has
Is CZ the heavyweight? Is CZ the heavyweight of heavyweights, or would you put?
Yeah. Look, offshore.
That's the CEO of Binance?
Yes.
Offshore, right? Offshore, the most influential person in the industry is CZ. But worldwide, I think the most influential person in the industry is the chair of the SEC. And the entire, Gary Gensler. And the entire industry pretty much is waiting to see what Gensler will do. And Gensler is pretty much the one person who could provide a playbook, or a set of rules of the road that would cause this industry to move forward in an economically responsible, ethical fashion.
If you love that Michael Saylor clip, you'll love this next one from later in the same interview, so click on this link.